Hey everybody, welcome to Resonance. So good to be back. Hey Melzie, hey Norma Jean.
Hey
we're,
Tanya, hey Norma Jean.
we're
Woo!
already vibing higher. We started with a laugh because it actually didn't go live right away, but we started and then I'm like, wait a minute, we're not even live, guys. So with
Yeah.
a retake, so we're laughing so hard at ourselves. And that's how we started the show today. So there you go. We were having a conversation, and we're going to continue it now. That I was speaking to the fact that, yay, we're on resonance and talking about the difference between frequency and vibration. So when we want to raise our vibration, what that does is increases our frequency of the field we send out to attract more people that are like us, per se, and it affects other people as well. And so you want to work on raising your vibration. And if you're having, say you're feeling sad about something, great, feel sad. Oh, I've honored that I feel sad. Is there something behind that I need to look at? But then turn around and like dance it out, right? Or walk it
Mm.
out, or do something that you can shift your energy to bring your vibration back up again, because you're responsible for yourself. Melzie, you were adding to that, so go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really awesome topic, I think. Like, how do we change what, like if we're feeling like we're not at that high vibe? And I think that we also have programming sometimes that can recycle in our head. And so we can go, oh, wait, stop. That's not a truth, right? Cancel clear. And it's all interconnected. I think it's like a wave. So a frequency is kind of like we were talking about a little bit ago. It's like we're kind of like tuning into something like on that radio dial, and we're going and we're like, oh, well, there's country, and I'm like, I can't listen to that country. And then we go up a little and we go, oh, that's something I can tune into. And so it's kind of when you start to vibe at a certain resonance, what resonance means is it's like a tuning fork, like, so that one tuning fork, it starts to affect the other tuning fork. And so that's kind of how we start to high vibe with one another. We can start to affect one another when we start to resonate with each other. And it's how do we change that mindset? I do it a lot by I either take a walk, or I use solfeggio frequencies, binaural beats. It's kind of the way that I do it. Um, and then usually I'm able to process through it. We talked about a friend of mine talked about tapping today. I don't know if you're familiar with that. But yeah, tapping is a different thing too, that this person was saying. You don't try to get rid of the emotion, you tap through it. So there's like a certain sequence that you go through, and then, that helps you to release that energy, right?
Yeah.
So it's about releasing. It's not about restuffing energy. That's kind of when on this journey that I've been studying different things. Like, one of the things that William Reich had discovered was that it was that when we are bound up, that's when we have dis-ease. So when we can release, then we can have um, like a healthy balance. And so it's learning your song of yourself. I think your song, that each person has a different tune that they are singing, a different song that their heart song is singing,
A
and it
soul song.
changes. Soul song, yeah.
Norma?
Oh yeah, I totally agree. It's about moving energy. Because even when you get good at this, tapping or something that at least gets the body motion and the movement going to move that energy so you can release it is great, because that's where, like, because I don't call it as much body pain anymore. What it is it's a soreness. It's letting you know, hey, there's something stuck here. So you just need to focus on either movements or the tapping, as you were speaking to release that energy in ways where it's definitely beneficial to move that out, so that way you have the room for new experiences and new higher vibrations, or even taking in moving into your frequency storage, let's say. So yeah, anything that will get that energy moving in get it out of that place that it feels stuck in is always great, because it helps the body stay, in better mobility, and you don't have to worry about what seems to be aches and pains. What it is just stuck energy. And once you can get that moving and taken care of, it's all good from there.
Yeah.
Like,
go ahead, Melzie.
like maybe taking an Epsom salt bath will help you to release it. Like, like bathing for me, maybe it's a hot shower, maybe it's going for a swim, right? Maybe it's going walking by the water, but that flowingness of water, I talk to the water, and um, when you can release and have that relax and work it out with yourself, then you can then move on to going, okay, now we're not stuck, right? And sometimes maybe you need a help, like maybe the sound bath, right, that you experienced, that maybe it's something that we need to have unstuck with sound or with light frequencies, and also, we're very powerful beings. Like Joe Dispenza teaches that if we can breathe and envision an outcome, we can achieve it. So many miracles have come from his workshops. So there's many different ways, I think, to attuning to our heart song, like, right, our soul song.
Yeah, absolutely. So Penny's asking, what is tapping? So it's EFT tapping. So, and as far as I know, that's what it's called. And you can even start like this, even though right now I'm frustrated. That's okay. Right? Even though, and so you move through the different meridian points on your body and you keep saying it, even though, right? Even though it's okay. I accept that, right? Yeah, and you can tap on your hands, on your arms. Another thing you can do too, so if you have something in your body where it's feeling stuck, say here on my shoulders from riding the quad, you put your hand there and just say, even though I don't understand you, I love you. And you send love to that space in your body. Even though I don't understand you, I love you. And just breathe in love. Deep breaths can also help. So if you're having some anxiety, fill those lungs up. We've said it before, and I'll say it again, that when you breathe deeply, you've got more hairs on the bottom of your lungs than on the top. So those that smoke, because they take a big drag, it relaxes them. And it's why, because otherwise most people are shallow breathing. So if you focus on just taking those deep breaths, and it helps me to drop into meditation, helps me to drop into my heart space, it makes it really, really easy. And quite often too, you can say, is this even mine? Especially if you're around other people. And if it's not mine, send it to earth, send it to the sun. And so that really, really helps. I also do a lot with the lymphatic to help move the energy within my body. And so you can start here with your lymph nodes, and you can massage here, right? And you can go ahead and move it along. I do a lot of tapping here, and then under the arms, you have lymph nodes there. And then I rub all the way through, again, like 10 times. Actually, between your legs and your crotch is a good spot, and then behind the knees as well. So people aren't really aware of all this stuff, but you can look that up, like activating your lymph nodes. And that helps to move energy within the body in a big way. And I do that every morning. Sometimes in the shower, Norm sees me doing it all the time. I'm like dancing around doing my thing. So, and it works really, really well for me. I know, Melzie, right now you're near hot springs. And so that's been your go-to, right? And then you were mentioning before the show that that's really helping your back, correct?
Yes, I've had issues with somebody said, you have a healing back. And so I've had a healing back for a very long time. And that's part of the reason I wanted to come here, was because I started coming like once a week, and I saw such help and benefit and release for myself in so many different ways that I felt I had to be here. And so talking about manifestation, right? It happened so quickly. Like I don't know how it happened, but it happened. I envisioned myself being here, and then I actually booked a campsite for about 4 or 5 months. And I said, no matter what, I'm going to be there. I need to be there for my body and for my health. I'm going to make this leap of faith and do this. So I kind of took a step towards it, and then I put in my resume. I had come again for my weekly stay, and I had talked to the guy who books the place. I called him up and said, "Hey, Daryl, can you give me M?" And he said, "Well, yeah." And I said, "Is there a job yet there for me?" And he said, "Oh, I think there might be one." And so I put my resume in, and it just happened so quickly. I moved my little camper up here. It feels so right. And um, I was working all the time, and it's strange because now I'm not working as much, but I'm going back to a space that feels really, really good for me. And my body has received such benefit from it. Like my pain level has gone down to like a 1 or a 2. Like when I work and I have my head forward, then I notice it more. But I'm doing things that are right for me. Like I'm starting to do my yoga and my yoga rolls, and that helps. So I had to make that commitment to myself. And then it's like the universe stepped in and said, yes. And in fact, you're not going to get that campsite over by everybody else that you thought you wanted. You're going to get a better campsite. It's going to have electricity. It's going to have water. It's got cattails and mints, and you're going to be private, so dozer's not going to bother everyone. I mean, it's like so much better than what I could ever imagined. And so, you know, is that a step in manifestation? I don't know. Maybe it is. It's different things like that. There are no coincidences, right? But I kind of had to make that step towards it too. Like I dreamed it, and then I put in the resume, right? They're not going to call me unless I didn't put the way to call them. So the universe was like, you got to put in your resume for them to know who you are. So it's different things, and I'm not saying that it's always us doing. It lined up. So
Yeah,
then because it lined up, everything worked out perfectly.
beautiful. And to add to that as well, in something we've come into quite recently as well, or it's been this big shift. So we've been raised to go and do and chase and make your list and get those goals and
Hmm.
do, which is
Yep.
very counterproductive to manifestation. Because
Right.
right, you're out chasing. And you can force that, but eventually the body goes, I can't do this anymore. And that's what happened for me.
Hmm.
It was, I had basically a mental breakdown. Like, I can't operate this way anymore. Something has to change. And I'm the only common denominator. So I guess it's me that has to change.
Right.
But you have to hit a wall basically often before you do that. And then now it's a matter of taking away everything that is not for my highest timeline, turning down opportunities or people trying to like pull me into their story or pull me into their timeline, or going down a story path. Oh, I should go do that. And just sitting and how does it make me feel? How does it make me feel when I want to do this? How does that make me feel when I want to do that? And it's more allowing that you take small action towards, but it has to resonate, and then you'll get that vibration back. And when you start to pick up on that subtlety, it's
Hmm.
a huge difference, and so much easier on the body and the brain and the mind and the soul. Your
Hmm.
soul's now leading you. You're no longer trying to lead with the physical. You're allowing the energetic and the soul to lead you. And that's our wish
Yes.
for everyone at this time, is to learn how to like drop the baggage, let it go, and figure out what makes you vibrate higher so that you can come into your highest timeline and not have to chase things. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's really, I can't imagine going backwards. It just doesn't work for me. Yeah. Once you get there, you can't change. So that's what you just did, Melzie. Yeah, congratulations. And Norma too, you've got some things to add to that just from our trip. Go ahead.
Oh, just the trip alone. I was already on, an exploration of self to begin with. But when you take yourself out of what seems to be a norm, and you're able to visit places that give you so many different perspectives to and perceptions to broaden your ability to see so much. And I'm talking about seeing. I'm not talking about looking. I can look at what it is that's around me, but when you are given the ability to see, it is a totally different experience because it affects the understanding of what we truly are, and it's nothing that is outside of us because our world exists within us, and when we begin to see that outside of us, it shows it to you. It can't be any other way, and the clarity that you gain from that and the beauty just helps. It was making me well up with so much joy and gratitude and bliss and appreciation for the chance and opportunity to be here in this moment, in this time, that I was so awestruck, I guess you could put it that way. Just having the ability to be given the gift to join you and Jade and everyone else that went on this beautiful and wonderful explorative and creative journey was so profound, so profound for me.
Yeah,
So profound.
absolutely. It was experiential in all ways, and then picking up on other energies and,
Oh
you
yeah.
know, adding little things that brought us more joy, or doing something out of the box, like, the day we were at the Red Sea, and everybody, we've got videos that we're gonna do a video series, because 5 weeks is a lot to unpack in a show, and
Oh yeah.
there's too many photos to show. So we're gonna create a series of it, and we'll get those launched out so everyone can see what we went through. Really, this show is for you guys to ask questions. So hit us with any questions you have. Talk to us about this. Boogeyman's asking, anyone else been having blurry vision, mad vibes, back pain, and zero motivation? Yeah, 100%. It will come in waves. These are upgrades, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I've had things where I've been seeing, we've been talking about, do you see those sparkles? Do you see the ether the way I see the ether right now? Yeah, it's been really fascinating. So just depending, and I think a lot of it too was the fact that this whole trip we were living by sunrise, sunset, and watching both for 5 weeks. That is a huge upgrade opportunity, and being on the water with all the light codes coming off of the water for a week, like, there was so much opportunity to be upgraded. And then being on an island, which I called a pocket realm, because you really come into this little area that feels like it has its own dome and its own layers going on. And Norma can speak to that too more in a minute. But just having this observation that it's like you go through portals every time you go on a ferry. It's like going through a portal. You get on a plane, it's like going through a portal, and you show up and it's different, and it's you've got to adjust, and it might be a different time zone. Hey, we came home and we moved backwards in time according to the system, so to speak, right? So super fascinating. Super fascinating. How to deal with those ride those waves of energies. It's okay.
Yeah.
Just do what you need to do and be what you need to be, and don't starting to see things now, shadows randomly out of the corner of your eyes. Absolutely, this is all part of what's going on, and be joyful, because that's great. That means you're becoming more aware, and your senses, you're paying attention in a different way, you're observing in a different way. Yeah. Thoughts on that, Melzie?
Yeah. I think that's all true. Like, I've been having a lot of ringing in my ears lately. Um, like I said, the water is so healing. When I work, I try to soak before I go into work, and then I can take time off to walk dozer if I need to, or um, sometimes I can take a soak in between if it's not busy. But it's been hard for me because I get really just wanting to rest, and I've been honoring that within myself. So I know I just kind of went on a me tangent there,
That's
but
okay,
it's
but that's you're sharing because other people are having
yeah,
similar situations. So we're confirming we are
yeah,
not immune to what's going on. I had an apidation today. I've been up in the middle of the night again, and I don't think it's from the time change because I set it up perfectly coming home. But it's
hmm
definitely been, yeah, nobody's going crazy. This is just part of it, and that's why we're chatting about it. Yeah,
And
Norma, do you yeah.
sorry, when I can't sleep at night, there's different things that I do and I'm okay with it. Like I don't feel like, oh God, I have to get back to sleep and
Wow.
sometimes I'm like, oh, let's get up. What do you want to do? And maybe it's reading something that I wanted to. I can go for a soak here, although it's too cold right now for me to do it. But I used to do that when I was here, when it was warmer. Or, maybe it's getting on a chat and talking to some people and working some stuff out or watching something that you wanted to. But take time to yourself if you need to. Maybe it's trying those binaural beats and seeing if they put you back to sleep. So, I challenge people to, if they haven't tried that, to do it, because we are sound beings and we're made of water. And we know this through so many different things that we've seen, right? And it's one of the ways that really helps sync your brain chemistry. And when you do that, you have a releasing. So it's hard sometimes to get into a meditative state, especially with all the chaos we have going on in our life. And this is a tool. It's not that you have to do it. But if you haven't tried it, there are things within our being that we don't know about that need to come to the surface. Like with homeopathy, when you there were it's a homeopathy is a um, it's like a practice of frequency. So they sequester the remedies into a specific frequency. Lower frequencies are for your physical and higher for your mentals. And so when they give you something, sometimes you'll have a psoric episode. You might have a rash that comes up, and you're like, I came to get rid of the rash, not to have the rash come up. But see, we need to have, right?
Yeah,
I
it's
didn't
your
want to
body
have all these
working.
pimples on my face. What are you doing to me? So, but that's actually a good thing. We need to have that energy come up so then we can do something with it, right? And that's what we're talking about here. How do we change that vibe? Well, I've been telling myself I'm a stupid idiot or I look bad or all those programming things, right?
Right?
That we can get stuck in, and we've all been susceptible to. So we can say stop, cancel, clear, and then how do we redirect that and let go and release?
Yeah, absolutely. Um, Definitely. And the cold water here, I asked Nora if she wanted to go for a cold dip. Yeah, we'll see about that. Yeah,
Do you
but definitely
sauna? Do you
sauna. Yeah,
sauna? Yeah,
yeah,
I love
yeah. A
sauning.
friend of mine just got a portable one that I think he's taking down to the ocean at some point. So I've just got to reach out to him. But again, we've only had a couple days back, and it's just been this like
Mhm.
really slow integration, like taking our time and observing what's going on and observing all the feels. And I've come to the conclusion too on this. So in my experience, we go through these times where people are always talking about the portals, but if the
Mhm.
calendars are not correct, how are those portals even relevant, really? Right? So it's not resonating for me anymore. But we noticed while we were away, the sun is definitely shifted. It's our real sun now. And same with the moon. The moon is definitely shifted. Oh my gosh, the full moon we had on Milos, mind bending because we were way up on this hill in this house with goats around and nobody else around, just the goats with the bells around their necks. So we were a lot. We had one goat that kept visiting us. Again, we'll share all of that. But I was like, that is a different moon. That is not the same moon. And so that was super cool to witness. And Norma, do you want to add to that?
Oh yeah, they talk about that the sun and the moon are portals in themselves. And so to experience the sun and the moon the way we did at Milos and even Santorini, and the clarity wasn't there as much as I was in Egypt, only because I was still coming more into my understanding of self and just the way that I was perceiving things. So as we were able to get to Milos and we began to experience the moon and stuff, it was like you could see in the night the moon was totally different, especially if you were looking at it in a certain angle or a certain way, because it was showing itself to us that, hey, I'm a living entity as well, and it would show that from what I could see was I could see that it was something that was a portal that was spinning just as much as the sun does, because the moon has its effect on us in the planet just as the sun does. So it was just so many different. It's hard to put into words sometimes when you see something that is so new. It's hard for me to find words sometimes to express what I have been experiencing, because it's so profound, and
I think you're doing a good job, Norma.
Yeah, absolutely.
I really do, because it is, like you said, that is different energies that are coming in, right? And going back to like the portal, like these portal energies that are coming, they are always coming in. We're always affected by them. And so we do, if we have we have portals within ourselves that we're learning about, but this 3D now experience that we're in has value. Like, I love going and soaking in the hot springs, and that's a benefit that I couldn't have possibly in a different dimension. So there's an experience now that we can have and celebrate. Like, I love going for long walks with my dog and finding rocks. That's one of the things that, is priceless to me. And I can experience that in my 3D body. There's many things like now like we have right now kind of the 5D and the 3D, right? Because we're meeting through technology, we're meeting through heart coherence, and yet we're still having our physical now experience. So we can have more than one. We can have more than just, we're already time travelers within dimensions. We're doing it already. Right now we're doing it.
Absolutely. And we're collapsing timelines like crazy at night. Unbelievable remembering dreams and, different situations. It's like, where did that come from? It's pretty incredible. And I just want to go back to the moon thing for a second, because remember for quite a time people were showing 2 moons. Is it possible that that's when the old, like this spaceship moon or whatever you want to call it, was being taken away, and they were right? And so they were just showing us this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing for you. And it was part of that shift, because we get so caught up in, oh, look at that, or the sky split, or this, and we're looking at these things, and then we forget about it because something else comes along that's super cool as well, or maybe distracting, right? And so
I think we've been through so much in these last few years. I was watching something today, and it brought up something that I completely forgot. That was like, oh, that was such a big deal then. And I can't remember what it even was now, but I think that's there's been so many epiphanies that we've had for our growth to be here in this now. And everybody is in their perfect place. We can, do that inner work, right, to help us to resonate to the song that we, our soul song again. I don't know how to say that, because it's not that I go to your tune and then you're as high as I am and oh, now you're vibing at, this person's vibe. It's that you find your soul song that makes you sing, and then you start like singing, and then I start harmonizing. When you start, then we have this beautiful symphony of humanity that is singing and resonating and being.
Exactly. And they're just commenting here. So um they're asking if anyone's seen the moon. We just had a new moon. So that means there's kind of no moon. And so you'll start to see the sliver come back, guys. It hasn't disappeared. Yeah. And lots of cheers to everyone here on their wisdoms and whys between the three of us. And yeah, Norma, you're getting lots of shout outs. So if you can't express it all the way you want to sometimes in the words, everyone's feeling it, right? Because these guys are all
Yeah.
everyone's here is learning to feel, and how does it make me feel? And that's really what I've been making any decision on. It isn't with this, because my mind isn't necessarily got my
Mhm.
best interest at heart, right? Nor does my
Mhm.
subconscious. It just wants to keep me safe. It doesn't know anybody else. So it's just trying to make sure that if something new's coming in, and that information it picks up of millions of pieces every single second to
Mhm.
correlate back to what it knows so far and what I've pushed through, especially like doing something new, your subconscious goes, "Oh, we don't know that. You don't do. I don't know if you want to do that. That we're going to put a little fear in you, right?" And then when you
Mhm.
break through that and you trust, then it makes it easier to break through more and more, and eventually you really become that observer, and then you sit back and just observe what's going on around you. I've watched a few people spin out in front of me lately, and I'm like, interesting that's happening for you. I'm not inserting myself, because then I can't be in the eye of the storm, or be that observer. Now I'm putting my energy and giving it away to somebody else that's struggling, when really it's their struggle, and I can sit and hold space and honor them, and empathize with them. I'm not saying don't do that, but I'm just saying I'm not going to try and fix anything for anybody else. Not my job. No, we're not meant to do that. We need to fix ourselves right now,
Right.
right? And then we can guide others. But they need to do the work. If they don't do the work, and they still sit in their shit, and all they're doing is complaining to you, empathy wears off pretty damn quickly.
Yeah, I think that we can't make anybody do anything. Um it's really their work. And like you said, there can be gentle suggestions or guidance, but it's on them. And it's okay too if it's not their timing to learn that or to experience that, right? Because I know there's been times when I knew I needed to do something, but I wasn't ready, you know. I wasn't ready to give up chocolate yet. And I'm still not ready.
No.
I'm just
Everything
kidding.
in moderation. Yeah. No, that's the point of having these five senses, is to enjoy an experience. Oh, Norma
Mhm.
Jean, what was your favorite thing in Greece?
The waffles, man, I'm telling you, the food in Greece is just, oh, I I ate like a queen, and my favorite one was the waffle with a, her daughter Jane her daughter Jade ended up getting she didn't tell me she got this waffle with ice cream on it. I was like, oh, okay, well, that's cool. I'll try that. So the next day we go in, it's a big, huge waffle. And I didn't realize how big it was going to be. And I got it with chocolate ice cream, but the greatest thing was the caramel ice cream. It really just blended really well, and it had like Nutella on it, and they had this caramel cream on
Mm.
top of it. And I was like this big kid, and I was like, "Thank you so much," I was like, "Oh," it was like party in my mouth. So that was my favorite part, and it was so experiential to be able to. I probably ate more in 3 weeks than I have in 3 months.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, FCB saying the food is the best. Yes, it is FCB. Absolutely. Yeah, and tomato fritters are pretty awesome. Yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely. But it's giving yourself that permission to have that. But
Mhm.
we tend to
Hmm.
not eat breakfast, right? So we were still doing our fasting, and and then you just eat a little less later on, possibly. So it just depended on what point it was. And Norma mentions party in my mouth. We taught our skipper on the boat that. He's like, oh, I like that one. Because I said, oh, I love to have little snacks or have lots of flavors because then I get extra party in my mouth.
Yep.
And he's laughing at me. So, and it's true, right? That, you know,
It is.
you have to be able to enjoy. And then, you
Yeah.
know, as soon as I'm back, what am I on? Back to my drink, right? Back to fasting a little longer and making sure I'm getting the variety of food that I need to have to reset and get my body back to being here. So yeah, Elisa's on the chat too, and she was with us in Greece and Egypt as well. And yeah, we really enjoyed the food. Absolutely. It was
Oh yeah.
fantastic. Yeah. And it's important to enjoy. So yeah, don't give up chocolate, whatever you do.
I'm not giving up chocolate. I
Yeah.
was just, using it as an example of things that we, maybe it is something you need to give up, right?
Yeah.
And um, and you might not be ready to give it up, or you might not be ready for that change, or you're working through it to get to that courage to make the change. And there's nothing like jumping in the deep end, I think. But everybody has that perfect timing of when they're ready to make that change. First, I think, is recognizing it, and then
Yeah.
it's that timing, just jump in the deep end.
Yeah. And
Don't push your foot in the water. It just doesn't work that way. For me, it hasn't.
yeah, absolutely. Well, and it's also, and everyone's different. So,
Yeah.
and don't forget to look back and look how far you've come because we tend to beat ourselves up. And that's another programming, right? Oh, I'm
Mhm.
not doing enough. Am I far enough along? Am I far enough along in ascension? And am I being left out? Am I missing out? It's all part
Mhm.
of wanting to keep up with the tribe, but really it's an individual experience. And none of us have the same experience. None of us can
No.
have exactly the same. And that's the beautiful part of it, that there's, no matter what, we're all having our unique experience and nobody else can do it like you, but we're always, thinking we need to do better, we need to do better. And why not have some gratitude for where you are and remember to have that gratitude? Absolutely.
Oh
There's a question on here that is for Norma, just before it skips, because there's a lot in here right now. Where did he go? Okay, so this one might be a full show that we need to work on, but Norma, do you think you can tap into the meaning behind the flower of life or Metatron's cube? Now, they're two different things, very
yes.
different things. So why don't we just do the flower of life for now? And I know that we've got some videos on some sacred geometry, and I know that Norma will be doing more on those. That's her specialty.
Basically, over this period in time and process, I've come to understand that for me, in my understanding, that the flower of life is actually the representation of the manifestation of the world, of the manifestation of tangible. Okay, it represents this realm of manifest. So when you look at the flower of life, it is a mirror of the spiritual realm, which is considered the lotus of life, and the both are the two that come together to create the whole, where the body and the spirit and mind all get to experience this this joyful thing called life, when you come to understand it so fully and so experientially, for what it truly means. And and like Tanya said, we'll be doing some videos on that, and I can get a little more in depth in it, because there's more to it that I've come into, that each circle that makes up the flower of life is in its own self a portal that has its own disc of Pisces, if you so speak, so to say. And there's just something a little more deeper of a meaning that, like I said, we can go into as we create these videos and get this information out. Because I can tell you my story all day long, as long as I don't trip over myself as I'm trying to, because sometimes, like I said, it could be difficult to come up with the words to express everything and all that I'm still continuing to experience. So
Yeah, we had a good discussion about the viscous Pisces too on our trip. So
mhm.
yeah, there's a lot to be said. So you also have the lotus, you also have the diamond. So there's a lot to unpack within
Yeah.
those. So do stay tuned for that. We do have a lot more, and you can certainly do some research. What's the fellow that you follow for that mostly? Well, Robert and Grant, we both follow.
Robert Grant, Jan 108. You can go to YouTube, look up Understanding with Savan Bomar.
Yeah.
I utilize a lot of those are my three main go-to individuals that help me to tap into things that I'm still trying to bring out, so to speak, and tap into the DNA with all that coding that I know is within me, because there are certain ways that they will present that information that it activates that, depending on how the information is provided and how I hear it. So yeah, just go check out those three gentlemen right there, and they'll help you understand so much, especially Savan. He gets a little more in depth than, Jan 108 is more about teaching about sacred geometry, just as Robert Edward Grant. So, but Savan will go into more in-depth detail about so many other different things. Just go check them out, see what you think.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, sacred geometry, and remember, everything is sacred geometry, right?
Mm-hmm. Everything is numbers. Mm-hmm.
Right. And when you put those out there and you start to study them, they actually start to affect you, right? So it's like looking at something and you're taking it in through the eyes, but it's going through your body. Which brings me up to the topic, and I want to make some comments about the Facebook. We'll come over to you guys in a few minutes. The fact that everyone's talking about crystallizing their body, right? And how do we become crystalline? It's about the alchemy of moving through your body and adjusting your body through the mind, body, spirit, and connecting it all: masculine, feminine, your mind, your soul, your heart, and really having this beautiful combination to make sure that we get these things all combined together. And that's the real crystallization. And so that's kind of what's happening now as we all learn and grow and get there. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I can speak to a little bit about that right quick. Is like when you begin to do more inner work and you're becoming more and more of the understanding that who we really are is ultimately from within. And once it begins from within, it's going to be such an experience when you begin to see the truth of who you are within starting to show itself from without. You'll begin to see these shapes. You'll be able to see the geometry. You'll be able to see the grids. You'll be able to see so much because you won't be looking anymore. You'll just see.
You'll be activated.
That's a gift. That's crystallization. Yeah. That's crystalline.
Yeah.
That's
and
what it's
I think
it's
an activation. Like the shapes are frequencies, right? So the sacred geometry shapes are an actual tone or song, a frequency that's going out. So our essence picks up on all that, our being, because we're electromagnetic beings. And we sense things that we are within our field. So that's how, the part about, Ashiana Dean talks about, to just get back to her real quick with what we were talking about there with the Metatron. I think that it's a resonance that we're coming into that'll bring us to a crystalline, plasmic changing. And it's a process, like we're going through that. We're getting these downloads, but is it going to be a burst? I don't know. I kind of think so. I think that we're going to have a soul or flash. So it's a frequency when we get to like 144,000, and then we have that 100th monkey effect of our solar flash, and we receive our crystalline beings. And maybe there's some that don't. Maybe they're going to be more heavy, carbon based, in a frequency that resonates at a different lower vibration, and that's neither good or bad. That's just the way. That's perfect. They're not ready. They want to continue on in that pathway. So that's just my thoughts on it. I don't know if they're right or not, but that's what I feel. In my heart song.
Absolutely. And we know what's important. We're all souls having a human experience. And depending on how many times you've been, you have more soul growth behind you. So it's easier to navigate this world at this time. And for others, they're younger souls. But if you're on this path and you're in this chat, you're on your way. Like, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
But trying to convince others that they need to come with you is not going to work. And we've talked lots
Mm-mm.
about that. Yeah. So I just want to jump over to Facebook before I forget. And Cindy's mentioning my intuition is telling me to move forward with the 5D energy, and the 3D is very off to me. I'm wanting to put my energy where it's needed. And I'll just pop this up here. Just doing 9 to 5 makes me ill feeling. Absolutely. So we're getting those energies from other people. When when I have to go into like somewhere, like I was in London Drugs because I had to go get Jade some cream from a little bit of a rash she has right now. And so I'm like, okay, here I go into London Drugs. All right. And I go in and I'm like, zip, 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 and I'm out. Now, for work wise, I'm able to really stagger where I insert myself and where I don't. And so, what I recommend you do if you're in this situation and you are working a 9 to 5 and you don't have a choice because you need to pay the bills for now, I do recommend that you really become the observer and don't insert yourself. I wouldn't even converse too much with people, right? You could plant seeds. That's all I would do is plant some seeds. Try and come up with something positive to say so that whatever's coming out of you is positive, but you're really keeping your energy to yourself. I would say that's really important. But I totally agree. It's not an easy navigation. Certainly not. And then we've also got Arlene. It's harder and harder to buy groceries with all the biodegradable food. I learned so much from Tanya. I'm researching everything at the grocery store. Yeah, if you read those lists, you don't know what's on there. Pata. Yeah, not worth it. Yeah, absolutely. And even teaching my daughter. So read the label. Well, know what this is. Well, you really want to put that in your body, right? And so we have to
Mm-hmm.
remember that it's like you're putting premium fuel into the engine, and you're fine tuning your body right now, because this physical body is really, really, really important to be in tip top shape right now. In order to process and move through these next steps, taking care of you is the most important thing you can do, because whatever solar flash is going to happen, as Melzie says, no matter what, you guys have been feeling the energies. The best way to navigate is to make sure that you are doing what you need to do for you so that you can present yourself in the best way and navigate this the best way, that you're not being taken out by things per se. So,
And you're gonna feel better.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're gonna feel better, which will like make you resonate higher.
Yeah.
Just by feeling better, like, and there's different things that people, I know it's hard, but lentil beans are really easy, digestible food, to eat. Garbanzo beans are as well. So there's different ways. Quinoa is really awesome and easy to cook, that has high in protein. So, and those are good and easy to digest, for the body. So, and Celtic gray sea salt and no canola oil.
Yeah, no vegetable oils at all except
Mm-mm.
avocado. I also highly recommend, if you just rub your hands together and put it over your plate of food, or put it over the food before you cook it, right? And say,
Mm-hmm.
may this nourish my body for its highest good, and anything that is not going to nourish me for my highest good, transmute it, body. You can do it. So I can ask for that. I
Mm-hmm.
don't. This is why, like, Norma's, she's like, I haven't put on very much weight considering how many waffles I had. And I'm like, that's because we're vibing so high that you can just transmute that
Well,
at this point, right?
It's
So
intention too.
yes.
So because like when you say to yourself, "Oh, I shouldn't eat this. This is going to be bad for me." I know I shouldn't eat this. Well, what is your body telling you? You shouldn't eat that. It's going to be bad for you. And instead, Norma, when she's talking about that waffle, she's like, "That thing was just amazing, and I loved it." And so her body was saying, "This is awesome. This is
Yeah.
great."
Yeah.
And that's the intention. Like when we cook, you can tell if you're in a we put our love into food, right?
Yeah.
So we literally do. So that's why too we need to make those changes best we can towards
Yeah.
ourselves, right?
Yeah.
Because we're gonna feel better.
Yeah. And don't beat yourself up if you can't, right? Just
Nope.
put that love into it, nourishing, like do what you need to do for you at this point, and make those efforts to get as high volume and eat more fruits and vegetables and nuts and seeds and whatever that variety of food that you need to have, and use your body to douse. We've talked about this, body dosing. Speaking of that, we'll be doing some more rods coming up. So if those of you are not following, for rods specifically, I just wanted to mention to be on the Telegram channel, which is in the link below in the presenters link tree. You can see there's a link there. Go under there and you can find me on all the platforms, and definitely getting out there and doing these dosing and teaching you guys how for yourselves to figure out what's best for you, or how to make a really important decision, because your body will never lie to you. It just won't. And don't forget, you can do healing. You can rub your hands together and put them up and say, activate me, please. And then play with it. How does it make you feel? Right? In the last month, the energy has shifted so much. I'm like, interesting. One does not need to be activated to become a healer. You are activated. You just need to believe that you can give and receive. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I just add to that one more thing?
Yeah.
Because we can speak to our water. I want to challenge everybody
Yeah.
to do this, because
Yes.
water we know is programmable, right? If we speak to our water, tell it we love it, tell it that we appreciate it, tell it thank it, ask it for healing, to be healing water, to go within our body, to give us all the minerals that we have. It'll take on that program, and I think that we could see a huge change. So I'm doing it. So I challenge you guys all to do it yourself.
Right. And we've seen enough of the proof on that as well, for what happens when you freeze water, you speak to it. Absolutely.
And you can even put like a sign, put a heart on it, and on the bottom of your water glass. You could draw a heart, or you could put a saying, grateful, thankful, and it'll take on that messaging. So we can make it easy, and we can make it fun, and we can all grow together, I think, and all heal together.
Absolutely. And that reminds me too that while we were while we were out and about, and it wasn't like we were, lying around trying to suntan. We're on a boat for a week, right? And it's sunny every day, and you're not going to hide inside. And I was like looking at Norma Jean, I'm like, normally I turn the darkest out of everyone I know. And then she comes back, she goes, oh, I just got told, because you've been doing all this work on your body, that you're actually absorbing the sun now into your cells. So it's not sitting on my skin as much. And I'm like, oh, the Every Little Cell song works.
Yes.
Every little cell in my
Cell
body
song works.
Yeah. Absolutely. So definitely, you guys sing that song every day. Yeah,
I didn't
growing
have
younger
to.
every day. Getting stronger every day. Yeah, it's a
Younger.
real. Yeah. And then you learn to not worry about what's happening in the future. Am I missing out? I'm waiting for this. I'm waiting for that. Just enjoy every moment now. Do whatever you need to do, even though life might be a little challenging. Find the joy in any second. Like, go do something for you. Go get some berries or whatever brings you pure joy. For me, I love having some of I love food. So I love eating some of the food I eat. I love this drink. This drink is super important to my life right now. I know it is because I crave it. The whole time we were away, I was like, I haven't seen any turmeric. Next time I'm going to have to fuck, how am I going to get? I'm going to have to ship a bunch over or order it online.
You'll get contraband. You'll be stopped at the borders for bringing in turmeric, smuggling in turmeric. I'm just kidding. You won't. You'll pass right on through.
No, I took more than that over and didn't have any problems. So
no, I'm just being silly.
Absolutely. I know that we've got FCB coming on shortly. So everybody's waiting for him. I know that next week we will get on and have another chat and try and share some more around some specific tools for you guys. So we'll have a conversation in the background and come up with some more tools so that we can give you some more skills. So we gave you quite a bit today. So make sure you watch the video again and make some notes if you didn't, because I know you guys all love being in the chat. So if you watch it again and make some specific notes for you, I challenge you to do that as well, so that you can start to set these intentions. And by writing things out, you're actually manifesting. So by speaking them, writing them, and thinking them, that is part of this manifestation process. So last words, Melzie?
Well, I'm just grateful to have you ladies back, and to be high vibing with you both, and to have you all in the, out there in the ethereal world, lifting us up as well, and learning and growing with us. And I just thank you guys and look forward to next week.
Yeah, absolutely. Norma?
Yeah, I'm excited to be able to express as much as I can over time, just my story of what I've experienced, especially in the last 5 weeks. So just know that in every possible way, as we go along, the only thing I can do is tell you my story. And I hope that as I do that, I'm able to inspire people to understand how to have their own as well. And that's what I'm here for. I'm here to give you back to you, because I've given me back to me. And so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Norma, look at the banner.
Woohoo, Norma, sister.
I can't see. I don't close.
Your sister's been watching. Your sister popped on to watch.
Oh.
Awesome. It's a family affair.
Yeah, awesome. No, she's
all
here.
Right. We love you all. We look forward to seeing you next week, and enjoy the next show, guys. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
That was beautiful. It's awesome your sister popped on.
It was.
Well, thank you for telling me that.